Hey YouTube, and welcome back to this week's Mental Health Monday. I clearly don't have a voice. I had a fantastic weekend, a little bit too much fun, so my voice is gone, and also I work, so I haven't really had time to recover, but I'm gonna make me some tea tonight, so excuse my voice. Hopefully y'all be able to hear me and it'll sound a little scratchy and a little cracky throughout the video, but I'm happy to be back and sharing with you guys how my therapy appointment went on Thursday. I think the last video we talked about going back to my childhood, and so that's where we are still. We focused on apologies that I may never get from the people that hurt me as a child, and how to move forward in a positive way as opposed to trying to suppress it. So every time I was in the office, which I think I've mentioned this before, I would always say something like negative. So I was writing on this paper, just to give you guys an example. She gave me a paper, my therapist gave me a paper to write like some different stuff on, but I was writing not as neat as I wanted to because I was just trying to hurry up and keep up. Well, she asked when I was getting ready to leave, she was like, just go home and use that stuff and what we talked about and just trying to apply it to your life. And I was like, well, I need to rewrite it because I was like, it looks super sloppy. And I know you guys may, to certain people, that's probably like, oh, well, your handwriting was just not as neat as you wanted it to be, so you want to go home and make it better. But that is every aspect of my life. Like, I am never really satisfied. I always feel like I can do better, which is great, but you have to have a little grace with yourself, and I don't really have that. And she said the main reason is because in my childhood, I was always told that I was always getting in trouble for something, and I never realized what I was getting in trouble for, but I was always trying to be better so that I wouldn't get in trouble, but my better was never enough as a child. So she said now that's what I always tell myself, Dorothy, you can always do this better, you can always be better, which is kind of a good thing, because I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, if I wouldn't have went through the things I went through as a child, I truly do not believe that I would be this hard of a worker. And I pride myself on my work ethic. Like, I really think I push myself and I work hard. And so I know that now it stems from me trying to make sure that I do my very best so that I don't get in trouble. Because as a child, from, I don't know, as young as I can remember, I kind of always got in trouble for, I can't even really explain to you. And so Julie just helped me to understand that even when I think that there's things that I could have done better as a child to not get in trouble, you're a little kid. Like, kids are unruly sometimes, but for the most part, you're just enjoying yourself. Kids don't have an idea, and it's not to the point where they should be abused or get beat for really just being a child. And so I guess that's the first transparent part about my childhood that I've shared with you guys. I was abused as a child, and I was abused pretty badly. So a lot of the things that I do stems from my abuse, and it's so crazy because I'm realizing that on a daily. Julie will bring up certain things that I say in the office that I will really not even think about. It won't even be, I won't think twice about it. But she's like, Dorothea, that's the little girl in you trying to be better, trying to figure out what's wrong or why can't you be happy. And it was hard because a lot of my friends that I hung out with, they had really great relationships with their parents, and it was nice to see them just being able to enjoy life as a child. But a lot of my childhood was spent cleaning, taking care of my sister, and really just getting in trouble. I got a whooping pretty much every single day. And I do believe that, children should be disciplined for things, but I can guarantee you that I didn't deserve to get a whooping every single day. And in the magnitude that I got beat, like, it wasn't a whooping, it was more like a beating. And she told me that I'm so used to my abuser telling me that I need to do this better, I need to be better. So every time I'm thinking to myself, I'm always like, you need to do better, you need to be better. And God is so good because He uses, I feel like, for the positive. Like, He always works things out for our good. And so even though I experienced that because of my abuse, I'm able to push through a lot of situations that I probably wouldn't have been able to had I not had to be so resilient as a child, you know. So I'm thankful for this journey, you guys, because it helps me to understand who I am and why I do certain things. And yes, they may not be great, but that's my reality, and I can't beat myself up about it because I'm putting myself in a place to be better. So there's a lot of things that I realize now. So when I catch myself being negative, it could be from the smallest things, and I'll be like, Dorothea, stop. Like, you need to be gracious with yourself. And okay, you made a mistake, or okay, this didn't go as planned, but it's not the end of the world. But as a child, it was like the end of the world because I couldn't make mistakes. I couldn't do anything wrong, actually, or I was gonna get beat for it. So I'm just thankful to have been able to recognize these things so that on a day-to-day I try and just be gracious with myself, whether it's from, oh, I didn't clean up today, or I didn't finish all the things that I said I was gonna do today. I mean, that doesn't give me a reason to slack off, but it also doesn't give me a reason that I need to beat myself up. And I literally, you guys, beat myself up about every single thing, and it's not healthy because I'm so used to somebody feeding me that you aren't enough and you aren't good enough. So trying to tell myself and do this, convince myself that I'm enough, has been the most challenging thing for me. And a lot of the times when I'm in therapy, Julie makes me say stuff about myself like, what do you like about yourself? Or explain 3 positive things about yourself. I mean, okay, one, I can say my work ethic. I think I'm a great friend. I think I have a good heart, you know, but I don't like saying these kind of things. I don't like talking about myself. I don't. So that's why I feel like this, sharing my mental health journey, is like really, it's opening me up to being able to share and be able to talk about myself and talk about myself in a positive light. So I'm really happy. Last week was one of the best weeks I've had all year. Just as far as my mental space, I didn't have any like meltdowns or anything like that. It was just a really positive week for me. I did go see my psychiatrist because I don't know if I told you guys, but I had started taking some anti-anxiety meds, and they affect everybody differently. And the one that I was on was Lexapro, and it just didn't do my body good. I was overwhelmingly depressed. It was just not good. It was horrible. And I think I haven't released that video yet or edited that video yet, but I did talk about how horrible that week was for me, and a lot of it had to do because of the medication that I was on. But fortunately, since I am in pharmacy school, I was able to recognize some of the signs and the symptoms that I was experiencing, and I knew that it was due to my medication. So I consulted some of my other friends that are currently pharmacists, and we decided that the best thing for me to do was stop taking my medication immediately, and that's what I did, and I've been feeling a lot better. I did go to my psychiatrist last week, and he recommended another anti-anxiety med, but I'm really scared to take it because of the experience that I had on the first one. And I started off taking Celexa, but because January got so bad for me, Celexa wasn't helping. So I needed something different. I needed something better, but I stopped taking that. That one was fine. And then I got on Lexapro, and now I'm not on anything. I'm scared to take the medicine. I really don't want to take the medicine. I am really trusting and believing God for the ability to be able to heal right now and not have to take any medications, because I'm really kind of scared, because that was a life-changing experience. I will share that eventually, but right now I'm not ready. But it was too scary for me, and I really don't want to do it. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be on anti-anxiety meds, because it does work, and I do believe in those drugs. But for me personally, because of my experience and because I do not want to be on medication, this is just my own prerogative. Like, don't feel bad if you are. I'm not judging you. I really think it's a great thing. But for me, I just had a really scary experience, and I don't want to risk it again. So for right now, I am just praying super hard, and I'm being consistent with my prayers, and you just know, like, putting a demand on heaven, like, Lord, I need you to move, and I need you to move in a major way, because I don't want to be on medication. And God has really, really, really answered my prayers, because last week, I mean, I felt a little anxious, but not to the point where I felt like I needed drugs. And when I first started my videos, you guys, if you go back to, I think it may be like my Pharmacy Chronicles episode 1, it was literally every day I said I had a moment. And it used to take me about 4 hours or even more to get out of those anxiety attacks that I felt like I was having. But now, last week I didn't have one. Like, I didn't have one. And it also could be because I started back working out, and I stopped working out in January. I just stopped doing a lot of stuff for myself. I was such in a bad space mentally, but I'm getting better, and that's what I'm so thankful for. And God gets all the glory, because I don't feel like I need medicine. And if I do take it, or if I do feel like I need it, I have it. But right now I'm just trying to do it without it. And going to therapy consistently also helps the situation. So with that, there are 2 things that I wanted to share that I learned last week from Julie. And I got my little handy dandy whiteboard, and I'm going to show you guys like something that I learned, and maybe it'll help somebody else also who struggles with feeling like they're not enough. And honestly, I got to look up how to spell this word, because I really don't think I spelled it right on this paper. So of course, y'all, not prepared, but this is just how we do on this channel. You know, we're not aiming for perfection. Okay, yes, so scarcity, and that comes from fear. And then we got abundant, and that comes from gratitude. Okay, so never mind my drawings. Hopefully you guys, I would use a light marker. Hold on, y'all, because I can't even see this. And in my next video, I'll tell y'all about my crazy weekend, y'all. But I'm going to bed early tonight, because your girl is tired. And maybe my voice will come back. I need some tea, too. So let's see. I just bought some new markers, y'all. Expo markers, I buy them because I love the whiteboard method to study. But when I say they dry out so fast, it's so annoying. Okay. And I need to update my calendar. It's still January, and February is almost over, and I still haven't updated it. Hopefully this marker works. Okay. Of course, that doesn't work. And I just bought these like literally last week. Okay, here we go. Scarcity, and that comes from fear. So my dad bought me a diffuser, y'all, and and right now I have lavender in it, and it smells so amazing. Diffusers are the bomb. You should invest in one if you can. Abundant. And the essential oils that he got me, they're from Better Homes and Garden. I think that's like a what do you call it, brand? Walmart brand. Now I know some people are really like particular. I'm all off topic, but I guess it's kind of mental health, but about the things or the chemicals that people put in the essential oils. But I don't care, it smells good. Lavender is a good one if you want to like feel better. So okay, yes, I think y'all can see this. So she said there's 2, this is my river, and there's 2 ways you can go. So scarcity comes from fear, and abundant comes from gratitude. It's not abundance, it's abundant. Okay, y'all, so she said this is me. So Dorothea, the normal me, something will happen, and like say for instance, Okay, I didn't get to study for a test. You can see my ring light and that's really bothering me. Okay, but say for instance, I didn't get to study for a test. Instead of saying, like, going this way for abundant and gratitude, like, okay, I didn't get to study for my test probably because I got rest. Or this is like me preparing to study for a test, not the night before, y'all. So just work with me here. So say for instance, I didn't study for the test like I really wanted to, right? Tonight, here's an example. I want to study for my test. I want to study for 2 hours, but I ended up only studying for 1 hour. So normally I'm going to go over here from scarcity and fear. I'm going to dog myself out. Like, oh my gosh, Dorothea, you should have pushed yourself. You shouldn't have got some rest. You shouldn't have took your personal 30 minutes. You shouldn't have cleaned your house like you've been trying to do. Like, I'm going to just eat myself up. I'm not going to give myself a break, basically, okay? So that's me. And she said, but what would happen if you gave yourself some gratitude? And she was like, just think about, maybe you've been wanting to clean your house for like 2 weeks. You've been wanting to take some personal time to yourself to watch a show that you've been wanting to watch or something like that. But just like little things like that, I never go down this side of the river, ever. And she was like, when I start realizing that there's an issue, when I'm aware of what's happening, try to be more cognizant of my thoughts and like fear. No, don't go this way. I need to go to the other side. So hopefully, maybe for people that are struggling with what I'm struggling with about beating themselves up and being so hard on themselves, just think, and I'm telling you, I know how hard it is to try and change your thoughts and try and stop yourself in the moment, but I've gotten better over like this month and a half in therapy. So you have to be really intentional about what you're trying to do in your thoughts. So with that, try to have some grace with yourself, some gratitude. If you feel yourself veering off to the left and just beating yourself up, like, try to stop yourself and think about, well, yeah, okay, I didn't get to do this, but because of this, blah, 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 like something positive, you know? So, okay, let me use an example last week. Well, I went to go work out and I didn't get to study. It's always about study because that's all that I can really think of right now without going into my personal life. I didn't get to study as much that I wanted to last week, and I have a cardio exam this coming up Tuesday. Well, Dorothea, you started working back out. That's good for your health. You're, doing something that you love to do. Just like something like that, just down to the smallest things. Just try to have grace with yourself and go more towards the gratitude. Now, another thing she told me was, it's like this little circle. So let me draw it. And if this doesn't make sense and you're interested in what I'm talking about or how this works, please feel free to ask. I'm trying to explain it the best way that I know how from what I learned, because I really feel like I need stuff like this. I need consistent things to remind myself, like, Dorothea, you're not terrible. You're not perfect. You're allowed to make mistakes. But I have to realize that for about how old am I right now? 28 years of my life, I've been repeating the same thing that happened to me as a child. I was abused my whole childhood. And then a lot of the relationships that I got in were just mere representations of what my childhood was, because I accepted so many things and I allowed people in my relationships to make me feel a certain way, and I accepted it because that's what was normal for me. Was it good for me? No, but it was normal. So anyways, I'm almost done. Hold on. Okay, so this kind of goes with, we're going to start, okay, I'm going to just have to do it from this way. Hopefully y'all can see it. Yes. So you probably can't see these words, but this says awareness. So this is like when we're going down our river and we realize, like, hey, I'm feeling down. So, okay, when I'm in my house by myself, or since I've been going through what I've been going through, my mind, idle time is not good. It's really never good, but sometimes it's good for people. But anyways, idle time hasn't been good for me lately, because that gives me time to think about things and think of all the worst case scenarios. If you need somebody to help you think of worst case scenarios, I'm your girl. I got you, which is terrible, but I'm trying to be the person that sees the positive in everything. I mean, you know, be realistic, but also not tear yourself up. Anywho, awareness. So if I find myself thinking negative about a situation, even about my abuse as a child, just like become aware that you're having this feeling, you're having this moment, and you need to think about how is it expressed. So when I have a moment of like anxiousness or I'm beating myself up, is usually expressed in me talking down on myself. Some people it's them doing drugs. Some people it's, you know, taking it out on other people and making other people feel bad about themselves. But that part of where we were is expression. You need to recognize how you're expressing it. And for me personally, I beat myself up. I think of a situation that transpired. I tell myself all the negative things, the worst things I could tell myself in the world. And that's just like my go-to. That's my comfort zone, because when I was a child, if something bad would happen, it was expressed in me getting a whooping. It was expressed in me getting beat. It was expressed in me not being enough, me not ever doing enough. So anyways, expression, that's the next thing. Then you need to have some compassion and forgiveness for yourself. So, okay, I'm feeling down about something and I just talk down about myself. But then you can turn it around and say, like, you know, I do know that I made the mistake in talking down about myself, but Dorothea, you are able to make mistakes. You are able to, you know, feel sad. And that's another thing she told me. I suppress a lot of things. So instead of me giving compassion to myself, I'll just kind of like, just and try and act like it never happened. So, and that's what I do. But instead of me trying to avoid it, I really need to work on giving myself compassion and forgiving myself for thinking negative thoughts or beating myself up. And the way that's going to be expressed is a new habit or behavior. So for me, what I plan to do, what I plan to do is like, when I'm having a moment, I'm going to realize what I did in that moment. Like, did I talk down about myself? Did I procrastinate? Because that's been another expression for me. I procrastinated a lot because I wasn't able to get nothing done because I was having anxiety attacks. And so I'm going to have compassion for myself that I needed that moment, that's the truth of the matter. That's what happened. But I'm going to express that in a new behavior. So what I've been doing is going to work out. That's my new behavior. I have got sticky notes. I bought a whole bunch of sticky notes. And so my goal is to, anytime I come across a positive quote, like I've been screenshotting a lot of positive quotes in my house, in my phone, so that I can write them. So everywhere I turn in my house, because I have to be so intentional, I can see something positive. And so those are going to be my new behaviors. Doing stuff for myself, you know, allow myself to watch Grey's Anatomy when I want to watch Grey's Anatomy because I love that show, or just like enjoy my friends or like going out. So like this weekend I had went out and I allowed myself to have a good time, but because I was so depressed in January, I told myself, no, you don't need to go out. You just really need to be sad, and you really just need to be lonely, because you don't need to bring this around other people. But that's the devil talking. I don't know how else to explain it, but if he can get you by yourself and isolate you with your thoughts in your mind, then he has you. So I'm really trying to avoid that, because I feel like in 2018, I think I've shared this with you guys, that's how the suicidal ideations came about, because I was by myself and I was just lost in my thoughts and I was over it. So I refuse to go back down that place, down that road. But anyways, back to my new positivity, new behaviors. I'm going to express that in doing things that I love and doing things that I want to do, so that I can become, this could be my new norm about talking positive about myself and being happy. So I haven't put up my, what do you call those? Sticky notes yet, because also Julie told me that's another means for me suppressing. So when I get sad, if I think about my abuse, if I think about like my relationship that I'm trying to heal from, instead of not feeling that, like, I can't be sad about the fact that I was abused as a child. Do I need to sulk in it and be depressed about it all day? No. what did I learn from my last relationship? Am I allowed to feel the feelings of being sad about it not working out, or whatever it is that, you know, women or people feel after they have failed relationships? Like, allow yourself that moment and do not beat yourself up about it. Just have grace with yourself and realize how you are behaving as a result to that, but change it. What are you going to do to get better? What are you going to do to be better? And I am trying to be really intentional about that. But she said, back to the sticky notes, me putting the sticky notes up is a way for me to not feel sad, not feel like hurt, not feel down. And she was like, no, you need to feel that, because if you don't feel it, then you're going to suppress it and it's going to keep happening, which is what has happened to me all this time. I've suppressed it. I've never dealt with it, and I've been trying to cover it up with different things, like go to school and work really hard, get in a whole lot of organizations, you know, just all kinds of stuff that I've poured myself into. A lot comes from me trying to not feel the hurt or the pain, and me trying to validate myself, because I was never told, like as a child, from the people that it meant the most from, that I was doing enough, or that I was that I was enough. But anyways, so I'm going to use the sticky notes to affirm myself, but I'm not going to use it to suppress things. And had I not went to Julie, I wouldn't have understood that on that level. So those are the things that I learned. And then this is the sheet that I was talking to y'all about. It was like a present to pattern sheet. We talked about what happened in the past, how it's showing up in my present, and being aware of those things. So when you realize that they're happening, you know it's not a result of just by coincidence, but it's because something happened to you, and we are working to get better. And she also told me that there may be I may never get an apology from my abuser, which I'm really not looking for. I just want to learn how to move forward in a positive way without that apology. And the people that allowed the abuse to happen, I have to understand that it may be hard for them to accept what they allowed to happen to me, so I may never get it, but that shouldn't hinder my healing and my growth and who I am. So with that, I hope this week was that this video helps you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that I may have helped somebody that may be struggling with the same thing. And I just want to tell you that you got this. Julie did tell me that I have a lot of work to do, but just with this month and a half that I've been going to see her, it has been life-changing. So I do recommend therapy, and I do recommend getting help. And if you are a believer, I do recommend that you surrender your life to God and not try and have control over the situation, because He has moved mountains in my life in no time. So I'm just happy. I'm in a really good place, you guys, right now, and I'm so thankful, and I'm so happy to be sharing this with you guys, because it is making me stronger, and it makes me happy to be able to help people. So I love you. I will see you all. I do have therapy this coming week. So I'll see you all next Monday with the Mental Health Mondays, and I hope you guys are enjoying this, and I love you, and have a great week.